Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our Transformation Q&A with our two Transformation champs. I have here with me the lovely Robyn Koolen as well as Chandler Camden. A little bit of background about these guys. Chandler was the 2015 male grand prize winner of our annual Transformation Challenge. He actually lost over 40 pounds when he competed in the challenge and roughly 11% body fat to become the shredded specimen you see here before you. Robyn is our 2014 female grand prize winner. She lost 15 pounds, roughly 6% body fat. And if you haven't seen the video where we deliver her prize, she also got a super large check that she tried to shove into a smart card, and hilarity ensued. So we're extremely, extremely pleased to have these guys here with us. My name is Chris. I'm going to be hosting this hour or so where we're going to get to field some questions for these guys. We do have kind of two components here. We have a Google Hangout going on, so we're going to welcome some questions from guests in Google, so we'll be able to field some of those. We've also got a room full of Bodybuilding.com employees and team members who are present, so we're going to take some live questions as well. So I'll kind of be wandering around throughout, handing out the mic as questions go, and Jesse Ellis, who's our man behind the computer, will pop in sporadically with good live questions from the Hangout to make sure that we can address everybody's questions throughout the hour. So that being said, please give a round of applause for our very special guest. And to kick off this Transformation Q&A, I would just love to give you guys the opportunity to each tell us a little bit about your story, as far back as you like, but I think especially kind of centering on the Transformation Challenge you participated in. What got you there? What fueled you or motivated you to join? How did you get through it, and how have things been ever since? And that's your mic right there, so you should just be able to speak out normally.
So you
go for it. Well, initially I started at just about 270 pounds, lost 70 pounds, and then kind of yo-yoed around there for quite a while. The challenge came up, and it gave me more of a guide as far as you have a start date and an end date now. And it really kept me on track with that. And I was finally able to finish what I never had my whole life. And it was only 40 pounds, but it was the hardest, part of that is that last end. So when you tell people, oh, I lost 110 pounds or 100 pounds, or it's always that last bit when you're just sick of it. That's the hardest. But it also feels the best when it's gone. And that's pretty much where I came from with the challenge. That was the spark. It was kind of like it gave me a direction to say I can go on this path, and I know exactly when it ends, and it gave me a real hard goal to hit for. So, good luck.
Well, my transformation started in 2010. I was 197 pounds. So 200 was always my scary number, and I didn't want to hit that. So I just started eating better, moving more, like just walking to and from work and stuff like that. And then I was working out at the gym and wanted to find more like free weights information. I found Bodybuilding.com. And I started tracking all my workouts on the website. And then I got this one email from Bodybuilding.com promoting the Transformation Challenge. And at that point, I'd already lost like 50 pounds. And I just wanted a chance to lose like that last little 10, 15 pounds, whatever. And so I joined the challenge just for extra motivation, really. I didn't expect to win. I just wanted a way to be accountable. So I took my before pictures and then just kind of treated myself as my own little science experiment. I went and found certain meal plans that I thought worked well with what I like to do, like the intermittent fasting and a higher protein diet. And yeah, I don't know. That's about it.
I'm having there we are, technical difficulties with my microphone. Thank you, guys. And so I guess for those who don't know, would you mind just telling the audience how much each of you won in your respective years?
I won $50,000. $53 with Canadian exchange.
And no tax, right?
And no tax.
I won 80, so 80,000. So with tax and no exchange.
How has that changed your lives since then? What have you guys been able to do with some of that money?
What did I do? I went to New York for a little trip, but I already had that planned. That just made the money issue less stressful. And I've pretty much been just living the same lifestyle, just not like, I wasn't as worried about money and stuff because I still had a mortgage and stuff to pay. So I didn't do anything crazy. I invested some. I donated some, and that's about it.
Very nice. How about you, Chandler?
Right off the bat, I paid off what debt I had and bought a few things for the kids, and I'm just kind of sitting on the rest. And it feels good to have that buffer in case something goes wrong. A lot better than it would to spend it on something fun. So I like that security. That's fun to me, security.
Well, and definitely well-deserved. Congratulations again to you both for winning. Let's give them one more round of applause. And so with that, we're here to learn more about your journeys, more about advice you may give to people going through the current 2016 250K Transformation Challenge. I think you're probably going to get an array of questions, personal questions, fitness-related questions, probably nutrition, training, basically running the gamut. So is anybody ready to kick off our Q&A? Boom, Jesse Ellis.
This question comes from Jason M on Google, and he's asking, how much interaction did you have with the website during your transformation, and what parts did you find helpful?
Yeah.
I actually logged during the transformation. I logged every single workout that I had. I had 5 days of working out a week, 2-week rest. But the program I had built for myself, that's what it had in there. So every single training day was logged in there. And then as far as for nutrition wise, I didn't use it all that much because I liked mine on paper and I could see it and keep it in my pocket and remind me that that's your main thing is to stick to this plan. But it was really great to be able to design my own program based on what I wanted to have as my workout and my plan, and then to be able to fill it out and pull it back up every Monday, Tuesday, and just fill in the blanks with the weights as things were improving and things like that. So I had a lot of interaction with it.
I actually used Arnold's Blueprint, so I was pulling up that workout every day. It was logging all my workouts, and I actually found a lot of like nutrition, just information and stuff, because I was just building my own meal plans because I didn't want to bulk like the program wanted me to.
Can you do an Arnold impersonation for us?
Oh God, no.
How about a question from here at the office? Mr. Bill Geiger, I'm coming your way. Will you pass the mic down?
Thank you. I was wondering what the biggest challenge you faced for each of you during this process. Was it cutting out bad foods? Was it learning exercise and getting loaded every day? What was the hardest part that you faced?
Hardest part for me were my cravings. So I had to find something healthy to replace it. So I love it all. I like chips and chocolate and all that stuff. So for chips, I did like roasted chickpeas and what else did I do? Kale chips. I prefer the roasted chickpeas. And then, also dill pickles to replace my chips. And for my sweet tooth, which I also have, is I did a protein pudding. So I'd mix protein powder with some cocoa powder and egg whites and make like a pudding consistency thing. And it kind of curbed my cravings. Yeah.
Food was my biggest obstacle. I love to eat, and I eat large amounts, and I still can. So it's still a hurdle that I kind of hang off of. But so that was the biggest, and the nutrition is the most important. So it's kind of a double whammy when that's the most important and that's your biggest issue. I'm made everything to where I was eating on a schedule. Pretty much I relived the same day nutrition wise. And that's what kept me on track was, oh, it's 10 o'clock. I have to eat this. It's 12 o'clock. I have to eat this. And that was just to make it more or less methodical. That's what I don't like to veer out of. If I have a structure plan, I don't like to veer away from that. So that's why I was able to keep myself online, is by having it all planned out. Now I have to stick to it because I wrote it down. So
Nice. You want to do another one, Jesse?
So Lee G from Google asked, by the end of the contest, you looked like you were show ready. Did you think about doing a show when you were done?
Who? Him? Me?
Either or.
The combined
Well, I never thought I'd do a show, but I am planning on doing one in June now. So we'll see how that goes.
Bikini, figure, what division?
Fitness.
Oh, fitness, very nice.
Right in between.
I had thought about it, and I still think about it. And there's actually one like in 8 weeks that would be, but I've never even been to one. So it's a nerve-wracking thought to think, oh, not only have you not been, but you're just going to jump up there and think you know what you're doing. So like the thought had crossed my mind, and I had heard that before. Oh, you look like you could have. But there's a lot more to it than looking a certain way. You kind of got to know the process and how do you maintain that look throughout the day with judging. And even thinking about it now, it makes me anxious. So I'm thinking I need to get more background on that aspect of it, so I'm more comfortable with that process. But I thought about it.
Is there a specific division you'd want to compete in? Bodybuilding or physique?
I guess I'd have to do like a physique now, but that new classic physique category, if I could add about 20 pounds, that would be, I would really like to do that, but that's, I can't find 20 pounds of muscle in my pocket, so it's going to take a little while. So until then,
Right?
yeah, only.
Another question from here at the office. Dr. Chris Kendall, I'm coming your way. Doctor.
I am interested in hearing what got you to the weight that you didn't want to be at. Obviously, it's, why you did the weight loss or transformation. And then what do you do now, or what strategies do you have to not get back there? So whether it was too busy, crazy work life, bad relationship with food, whatever it was, and then what do you do now so that you're not going to end up back there?
For me, I started gaining my weight in college. So it was all the partying and the eating that goes with partying. And I ate way too much, and we ate out a lot. Like it was burgers and fries and all the worst stuff. Now I obviously eat a lot better. I rarely drink. I might drink a couple times a year, mainly because I just don't like being drunk anymore. And for food, I just base, like, I still go out for good food and stuff. Like, I still love burgers. I still love all of it. But now I kind of base it around social situations. So I make a point of going out with my friends and stuff and enjoying it rather than like an everyday thing. So then it's something to get excited for.
Same thing, food and loving food, and you get a little bummed out, and that makes you feel better, and for a while, and just kind of starts that cycle. You're a little bummed out because look at how I look, and then maybe eating a pizza would make me feel good, and eventually you kind of catch on that it's that's causing the overall downness, even though it's giving you these little moments of enjoyment as you're thinking about the food and eating it, and so that's really how that spiraled down. Is I love food, I love to eat, I love eating large amounts until I can't fit any more in, and then feeling guilty. Once I was able to kind of overcome that and find some type of a moderation where I don't go as crazy, but I don't completely restrict myself all the time. And so I was able to kind of have a line that I wouldn't cross, but I bounced pretty good up into that line. And so I don't feel like anything's missing. And I don't know. I was going one direction and my mind went away. Golly.
Food on the brain.
Yeah, you know what? I just started drifting off. But I guess what it was is that I started liking the way that I looked. And I get that 24 hours a day. So you enjoy a meal for an hour a day altogether. You know, you enjoy them. Or you can enjoy the entire day. And so I swapped that, how this makes me feel good, to how I look and feel makes me feel good. And it's more important. So I still give into that craving, and I'll indulge every once in a while, but I don't want to give up that other feeling that takes up the majority of my day, and I won't. So that's what keeps me on track.
Any follow-up, or does that answer pretty well?
So I guess then, in taking from that, would you say the change in food or nutrition was harder than getting to your workouts?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Working out's the fun part for me.
Yeah.
All right, Jesse, let's grab one from Google.
All right, so John on Google asks, what supplements did you use along the way to help you? And any advice for beginners that haven't added supplements to their total program?
Well, during the transformation, I hadn't really used any supplements before that. So I did a lot of research, and I found I was adding protein powder just to make sure I was hitting my protein goals. And then I was adding in some fish oil and CLA for joints, and the CLA is helping you reduce your body fat. What else did I do? Oh, near the end I added some fat burners and stuff to help accelerate the fat loss. But for the most part, it was just a basic like multivitamins. Yeah, all the boring stuff.
Oh, my turn.
Your turn. I'm done.
Well, I always train fasted, so I added in some BCAAs that I would do before training. And then a random pre-workout. I was still kind of testing which one do I like, which one makes me feel the best. So I didn't really stick to any specific one. I just kind of ran the gambit with different types. I was using green tea extract and yohimbe because I trained fasted, and I heard that it works really well for that. And then the whey as well. And I'd also supplement with casein protein at nighttime. And then to skip back in the daytime, I was using creatine as well, the monohydrate. And then I switched to a hydrochloride about the last 3 weeks. I heard it doesn't helps you. You don't retain as much subcutaneous water using the hydrochloride. So I thought, it's worth a shot. So even if my strength went down, I'm kind of going for looks at that point. So that was pretty much my whole regimen.
Nice. Let's grab another one from the room. Candace.
Hey guys, was this an individual journey for you, or were there other people in your everyday lives that helped you along the way, or maybe the opposite, maybe pulled motivation from you? And maybe how did that change over the course of your transformation?
Well, it was me. I was doing it mainly by myself. Like there was nobody else working out with me. My boyfriend at the time was really good. He knew what I wanted for my meals and stuff. So he made sure that I got my chicken and my roasted veggies and stuff. So it made it easier. He understood what I was doing, and he was very supportive. But other than that, I had some friends that didn't understand, but I had lots of other friends that were very encouraging. They didn't come with me to the gym, but they were very motivating about the direction I wanted to go with what I was doing. Nobody was really down on me except for social media. There's a lot of people that were saying that I look like a man. I was a little too lean for a lot of people, but whatever. I got over it.
Yeah, my wife at the time, which she was the one who kind of brought the idea up and was serious about, hey, let's take some pictures, and what's the worst that could happen. We went to the gym together. We didn't train together, but we 9 times out of 10 we were going at the same time. And even though she didn't take part 100% as far as the diet and all that stuff, she still was not hindering me in any way. And did what she could to help, even if it was, I'm going to eat something that you probably shouldn't have. It was always off to the side, so I didn't have to, sit there in the corner and just drool. And with the rest of my family, my kids and everything, they understood what was going on. Nobody really jumped in and rode the train with me, but they didn't intentionally try to derail it by saying, "Oh, look, we got pizza." And in fact, there was kind of an early warning system. Oh, if you're coming over tonight, we're gonna order pizza, so that I wouldn't even be in the vicinity. I guess like I was a crazy bear, and if I smelled it, I'd just attack. Which it's possible, but So all the friends and family I had were supportive in that I'm not going down that road with you, but I'm not gonna try to sabotage it anyway. So.
Well, I know you guys are both pretty active on Body Space as well. Did you find that online support network helped?
Oh yeah, it's a whole lot of people that are in the same mindset, which is really motivating. Like the whole Body Space, where people are updating their statuses and stuff, and you're kind of motivating as you go along, comment on people's stuff, and even on days where you feel like you had like a horrible workout and you log it and rate it as like a 2, and everybody's like, "No, you did an awesome job. Look at you, blah blah blah," and you're like, "Okay, I didn't do too bad."
Yeah, that definitely, like when you join the group for the challenge and you see other people posting, and a day when maybe you don't want to go to the gym at all, and you notice all these people, I'm ready to kill back or whatever, you're thinking, well, there's all the people I'm up against, so if they're going to go, I got to go. But even afterwards, it actually has helped even more, because now I'm that guy, and if I throw a progress picture that's the reverse progress, then so I'm kept more accountable. I guess that's what's helped me maintain for this period. One of the things that's helped is that I can't go hide in the corner and get fat again. I don't have a corner now. And at the same time, you'll read stuff that other people log and other people put on there, and it motivates you. And you'll find people that are where you'd like to be and people that are where you came from. And regardless, you get motivated from both sides, because you're in the middle. It's like, I've done more than this, and I can help pull this guy along, and this guy can help pull me along. And then even if they're not knowing that they're doing it, they're still there, and it still happens that way. So.
Well, a huge thanks to you guys before we go to our next question, because I know you're both so active on Body Space. You've become so influential and inspiring. So I think, part of your transformation now is you're able to pull people along, and they're kind of inspired by you. So that's a really amazing part of the journey. So thank you for that.
All right, we've got another question from Google. This comes from Mike. This is for Chandler. He's asking what your nutrition looked like, any major changes later in the challenge, and what was your cardio regimen like?
My nutrition, when I started out, I kind of came up with a formula, which was 1.1 grams of protein, a gram of carbs, and 0.2 grams of fat per pound of body weight. And I kind of stuck with that, and my water intake was the same every day. So I was weighing myself every day. I thought, well, the water's not really changing all that much. So about at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, re-enter the weight, redo the formula. And that was my new plan. So mainly I was weighing everything out in like grams. So then I had 40 grams of oatmeal. Now I'll have 38. That way I could keep my exact same diet, and I just kept pulling off of what macros I needed to lose. It changed once I got like a little below 10%, I upped the protein up to 1.2 grams, because as I researched and looked around, that's just, when your body fat's that low, you're really taking a chance on starting to kill through muscle. So to counteract that, I upped that protein, and it still kept me in a pretty good caloric deficit. And that's mainly what I've been sticking to now. Whenever I think, I need to cut, I go right back to that formula, and I throw that in there, and it seems to work. And what was the other part of the question?
Your cardio regimen.
My cardio, when I first started, I started at 3 days a week, and I just did 10 minutes of HIIT each day. But it was real hard. Like I wanted to fall off the elliptical HIIT. My sprints were all out. It was 30 seconds and a minute off. And then I upped that to a 15, 10, and 10, and a 15 across the board. And so I worked my way up until I had 3 days at 25 minutes of hard hit a week. And that's what I finished out with. But I had to build up to that point because I wanted my intensity so high, and you just don't have that wind and that stamina right off the bat. So I wanted to make sure I didn't burn myself off to think, okay, I'm not doing it no more, because I didn't want to make it too hard. I wanted to make it gradual enough to where like any progress, eventually you get to where you were heading, and oh, look at that, look at how much I've done in that period of time.
Well, Chandler, I think you've got some of your sort of peak week of the last 7 days of your transformation available online, right? Because I think a lot of people were inspired by that on Body Space and have almost used it as a template for their own transformation finales.
I do. I've played with that. I'm a computer guy, so I like playing with programs and things like that. So I've made some things on there that before, and then the final cut and things like that I made on there, and even the transformation training that I did this time, they're solid. That's the one that I actually use now. I may swap the days around to where my legs are on Monday instead of being Friday, but essentially that program that I have on there, that transformation training, is anytime I need to cut, that's the exact same thing I do. And it works really well for me. And I think as a foundation, it would work good for other people. But like anything else, you got to tweak it to meet what you need individually. But if you're looking for a starting point, I think it works.
And for people who are interested from both of you, just really quick, since we haven't covered it yet, what are your Body Space handles so they can search for you and find the information or ask you any questions about your training and nutrition?
Mine is R Koolen, so RKOOLEN, first initial, last name. I'm creative.
Makes it easy.
I got a little more creative. It's Chan Cam 77. So first part of first name, first part of last name, and then I'll just act like the 77s for no reason, even though it's the year I was born. So that's just makes me old. But
it's the year Star Wars came out.
That's what I'll go with. Yeah, why not?
We'll have you guys sign off at the end and give that again. But for more on those topics, you can find them on Body Space and ask questions and search for their training programs and things they've posted. And Jesse, let's grab another question from Google really quick. Or perhaps from the Bodybuilding.com. Keith Sabera.
Did you guys utilize any reward meals or cheat meals throughout the 12 weeks, or were you strict the whole time? And if you did incorporate a cheat meal, tell me all about it.
In thorough detail.
Sounds like vicarious living.
Well, I didn't have scheduled cheat meals, but I did, since I was so strict with my macros throughout the rest of the time. Whenever I started to feel weak, I would add something, a refuel or refeed meal. And so I'd usually get my friends, go out for, burger, or brunch. Brunch is a good one. I like my pancakes and eggs.
I did a refeed in that it was like everything else. It was a formula that I used, but it was still it was a break from the norm and a treat, but at the same time it served a purpose. And so what I did is I took whatever calories that I was currently eating, I multiply that by 1.3. Then from there, that'd be my new calorie goal, 1 gram per pound of protein. And then I would keep my fats to 15 grams or under for the day. And then I'd fill the rest of that gap with carbohydrates to give me that 30% surplus, with the belief that it's the leptin levels that are decreasing as you're in a deficit, and carbohydrates really help to bring those up, whereas fats will decrease them. At the same time, you can gain fat real quick off dietary fats. So since I know I'm going to be in a surplus at that time, and but I would have like a big bread or something like that, or maybe an ice cream that was made out of water, or so there's actually a lot of things that you can find that are low fat that still kind of help to satisfy that craving and give you a break. But and it seemed to work for me. And I started out with it every week, and then towards the end, it was about every 3 or 4 days I had to do that to continue to make progress. So
way more calculation than I did. I just didn't even count it. I'm like, this one doesn't count.
I'm a science math nerd, so like that's how I stay structured.
Any follow-up to that, Keith? Anything you'd like to know more, or is that covered pretty
That
well?
was it, yeah.
Very nice.
Sorry.
Jesse, you got one loaded?
So Glenn from Google asks, at any point did you guys feel like you had a chance at winning the contest, or were you just in your own world and doing it for the journey?
I thought that I might make the top 10 girls. I had so many friends that were telling me that I got it, like I was gonna win, but I did not think for 1 second that I was going to win this thing.
Should I mention the top 20 thing that happened or no? So yeah, at first I didn't think I would. Now I guess my win on that was going to be if I just made it through the whole 12 weeks and stuck to my plan, and that was my win right there, winning the whole thing. No, I didn't expect that because I'm me, and things like that don't happen to me. So, but I could have my own little personal win when I say I started this date and I ended this date and everything was perfect. And that was a huge step for me. So that's probably why I about passed out when I did win, because I really didn't expect it at all. So
Let's grab another question from the room. Anybody? Oh, we do have one right here. I'll come back to you, Bill. Here you go.
I'm just curious, besides wanting to look fit, was there a main motivator for you? Was there, I mean, for some people it's family, for some people it's maybe you wanted to do something active like run a marathon. Is there something in particular?
For like the whole challenge, or like
To start you
since?
into
Oh,
getting
start?
into the challenge, yeah.
When I first started, I just wanted to be able to do, like, because we're close to the Rocky Mountains, I wanted to be able to go hiking and stuff. And the ones that I could do were like the easy child-rated hikes that would make me winded. So I wanted to do the cool ones where people are taking pictures on the top of the mountains and stuff like that. And yeah, so I need to start with just walking. And there was also Spartan Race that somebody was talking about. And I'm like, that sounds really cool. I want to do that. But I definitely needed to lose some weight before I could pull myself over some of the obstacles that they had going on there. Yeah, that was about it. I wanted to hike and do obstacle courses, get muddy.
yeah, I didn't want to get muddy. I initially, I wanted to feel more confident about how it looked, but then I got to a point where my blood pressure was chronically high, and it started to think, oh, it's not just a looks thing. You're turning into an unhealthy person all the way around. At the same time, you want to be a good role model for your kids and others and family members. So it actually it began with I wanted to be more happy with who I saw in the mirror, and it ended with I wanted to be that plus a healthier version plus a better role model. And so it just all kind of culminated into, if I really didn't care how I looked that day, I still had all these other reasons to keep me on track. And so I guess that was it ended up coming from so many angles. I couldn't give up. There was always a reason. And so that was pretty much it. But mainly looks. So.
All right, Jesse, let's see if we've got one from Google for you guys.
So Mike asks, did you guys do carb cycling during the challenge? And if so, could you please share your experience with that?
I didn't really do much of a carb cycle. I kept myself pretty low carb for the entire thing, except for cheat meals. So that was, I guess it's kind of like a carb cycle. It was more like a refeed.
Like an everything cycle.
Because everything would spike that one day, and then I'd go back down to very low carbs again for the next 7 to 10 days, and then spike it again, and then go back down. So it wasn't one of the gradual, like the ones that I see everywhere.
Yeah. I had the refeeds that were high carb days, but then everything else was like 1 gram a pound per bite, which is not high, but it's not low carbs, and that maintained until the very end. And that last week I did cut carbs drastically. I was at like 40 grams or under trying to deplete glycogen and play around with that. And I lost a lot of fat there, but I tried low carb before in life. It would go good for a week, maybe two, but then my body would figure it out and then say, give us as few carbs as you want. We're not losing any more weight. So it was something that I found out at the end of the 12 weeks, I can still do that. And so if obviously the high carb worked for the refeeds, then a low carb would work for almost like an underfeed, just to play that little trick to constantly keep your progress moving. So it's really the only cycling I did. Long pedals on the
Nice.
cycle.
Let's grab another one from in the room here. Oh, we got a bunch. I'm going to do you, Daniel, real quick.
Okay, this one's for Chandler.
Uh,
How have the kids taken all of this? I know you have older kids, and so what do they think about their dad?
I honestly don't know, because I don't ask them like, hey, what do you think about me? Huh? You know?
Man,
But,
I would.
Check out this
I mean, they
Are they interested in it?
it's kind of like there's a little bit of a glimpse in that's neat that he did that. And I notice, if I go to school, it's, hey, that's my dad. So that's nice to. I don't want to say, oh, it's nice to be wanted, but it's nice to feel like they're proud. I mean, everybody's proud of their parents or proud of something, but it's just one more reason that even if nobody knows me, that their friends could, oh, your dad's that guy. So it gives them something to be proud of. And I'm hoping that transitions into, I like that, that attention he gets, or how that makes him feel. He seems happier. I want that too. And then to ask me about it, but I don't want to push it on them at all. I never wanted to do that with anything at all. But I'd be tickled if they ever did want to go that route, because they're starting so much younger than I, and that'd be great. So.
And you get a spotter too every time you
Yeah.
Let's grab your question too, Bill.
Okay, obviously, controlling what you eat is important to your success. So I was wondering how you handled, or whether you avoided eating in restaurants during this process, or not. And I actually have a second question. I was wondering how important to your success was actually entering a contest. Was that the start and end date? Did that sort of force you to focus a little harder than if you just said, I want to lose weight, and didn't put an end date to it?
Well, I avoided restaurants for all of my non-cheat day meals. And then for cheat days, that's when I went and enjoyed going out somewhere. What's the other question? The other one was
Entering a contest.
the contest. Yeah. Well, it was important to me because I was kind of at a standstill with my weight loss. Like I was at about the same weight for over a year. Like I'd lost the initial 50 pounds. And I was working out and everything was going good. It's just I wasn't progressing anymore. So I entered the contest because I wanted to lose that last 10 pounds. We all want to lose. And it just gave me like an end date to try and hit my goal. And I surpassed my goal. So that was a bonus. And yeah.
I didn't eat out at all. I tried not to even look at restaurants when those don't exist. I've since found that there are some things somewhere where even on especially on refeed, that I could, like a Panera bread or something like that, where I can get that high carb, low fat meal. But yeah, during the contest, I didn't eat out at all. And definitely having the start date, end date, and same thing as her, I had been stalled for a year or more. Not at the exact same weight, but bouncing in like a 5 to 10 pound range, right around 200, a little over, slightly under sometimes. But it definitely, when the finish line's here, you can really start trucking. When there's no telling how long it's going to go, your motivation kind of goes down a little bit, because when is this going to end? Well, I can tell you when it's going to end. April 3rd is when it's going to end. So that kind of helps you sprint to the finish, because you And not only that, just the competition, because other people are doing it too. So it's not like it usually is. And I guess it is. It's always you versus you, but at the same time, it's other people versus themselves. But you're trying to cross a certain line together, and you want to be as the best version of the better you that you can. So it definitely helped out a lot.
And there were a lot of hands up last time, so let's take one more from the room here before we pop back over to Google. All the way across. I'm gonna hustle. It's been a really fierce bolt. Just moving above a mile an hour is exhausting.
First off, I just wanted to say that you guys both look amazing. And also, during that challenge portion, was there ever a time where you guys were like, put on the brakes and let's just stop? Was there ever a point that you guys thought enough's enough, or life's getting too hectic, or maybe I'm taking this too serious, or anything along the way that could have possibly took this victory from you guys?
For me, it was, well, there were a few times like we'd have catered lunches and stuff in the office. It was early on in the contest, and I had a couple cookies. I'm like, I can't control this. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do this thing. And then I just, whatever, that day I just was like, okay, start over, new day. And then later on in the contest, I was comparing myself to way too many people. I was like seeing their progress and stuff. I'm like, they are rocking this. Like, I don't know how I'm going to compete with these people. Like, I'm not doing nearly as well and not getting there nearly as quickly as I should be. And then, yeah, I realized that I just need to tune it all out and just focus on getting myself to where I wanted to be. And yeah, after I realized that, there's no stopping me.
The only time that I really wanted to quit was like at work, if they had a big dinner, or if I saw food on a commercial, or if I saw food on Facebook, or if I had one of my wild dreams about food. I mean, that thought of it was always there. But as far as like the working out and everything, never. I was enjoying that. It was just, I felt like every time that they'd show up with some food at work, or somebody was going out to eat and, hey, I'll buy, I was missing this opportunity because I love food and I love free food even better. But somebody had said, if you give into that, you're missing that opportunity to do better today. And so I thought, I'm a grown man mostly. So if I want to go eat junk, I can do that anytime I want. I'm choosing not to do that now because I'm not missing an opportunity I can have later, but I can't have today back to do the right thing. And so that's kind of, I wanted to give up every second, but I also didn't want to give up that opportunity to do better for that second either. And it just kept winning out, and it still does. It just overtakes that other little part. So.
Very cool. Yeah, let's grab one from Google really quick.
So I know you answered this, Chandler, and talked a little bit about your cardio regimen, but why don't you talk a little bit about the cardio you did, Robyn?
For my cardio, I did a lot of cardio in the beginning because I kind of split my 12 weeks between two different programs. And one was lean hybrid muscle, which was like maintaining your strength while cutting weight. And then I went on to Arnold's Blueprint, which is primarily a the bulking one, the one that he did first. And it didn't really include much cardio. So I added in cardio, but I was just doing steady state, like very like a low intensity, steady state on an incline, because I was actually dropping weight too quickly for my comfort level because I didn't want to lose muscle. So I was already dropping weight quickly enough. And I knew if I was to accelerate that even more, that I would start losing my muscle mass. And that wasn't something I was willing to give up.
You gotta protect your gains.
That's right.
We got one right here, so I'll grab this from Brandon.
So obviously with you guys dominating the competition and being our winners, you did a lot of things right during the transformation contest. But if you could go back at the beginning and think about maybe things you had done wrong or things that you would do differently, what would that have been? Or what would those things be?
Okay.
Could be in your diet, could be in your training, could be in your mindset.
The one thing I would have done differently was bring somebody along, because I did it by myself, and well, not, you don't do anything by yourself. There's other people on the earth, but I trained on my own, and it would have been nice to have grabbed somebody else who I saw that potential in and said, we're doing this. And not as much for me or them in particular, and that's what I feel I kind of missed out on. Whether they won or I won, regardless, it would have been nice to double the progress that was made. So that's the only thing I would have changed.
It's a good one.
You can't steal it.
I don't know. Just like some of my slip up, like I had a lot of diet slip ups that kind of got me down throughout the thing. Just because I had no self control when there's sweet, delicious cookies on the counter. But I don't know. It would be nice to have somebody else there just to help motivate each other, because it was just myself at the gym. And like you'd see trainers and stuff, but there's the only people that I would talk to about my transformation challenge, because nobody else is really interested in the gym that I would hang out with. They'd all be like, hey, let's go for a hike. And they did not see the benefit of lifting stuff over and over again.
So you didn't feel Arnold alongside you training the whole way through?
No, I did not hear him yelling at me. Although I did have some tracks of like C.T. Fletcher and stuff yelling at me. That was good motivation.
Nice. Very nice. No. Let's Keith, get on another one.
I just wanted to ask you both a little bit about your after photos. After photos are a huge part of the judging process, and you both had really amazing ones. Robyn, your photo with the camera in front of your face, and I think you were laughing when you took the photo. I remember when we pulled that up, everybody was like, holy cow, this girl is shredded. And Chandler, you just look so great. So for the people out there that maybe this is their first time taking an after photo like this, what are some of the things that you did to prep? Like a tan, or did you, outside of your water cut and that kind of stuff, but how did you get such a great photo?
Mine, for a couple weeks, I was making sure I was exfoliating and moisturizing, and I was using a tinted moisturizer so that, don't wreck your skin too badly. And for my photos, I took it in the natural light because that was most flattering, and it would show the shadows properly and stuff, because when I had all the lights on, you kind of just blend it away. And yeah, I just took my DLS, like my camera, and put it on a stack of boxes, put it on a timer, and went and stood in front of it a whole bunch of times. I probably have a good 100 pictures of me front, side, back, and I went through all of them and picked the best ones.
My before pictures just kind of happened on a whim. It was actually the hallway at my mom's house. So obviously I messed with water a little bit about the last month in. I started tanning pretty regularly. And then I was exfoliating too, don't judge me. And also too, so on my after pictures, I wanted the same spot. I wanted to say, so they wouldn't go, oh, it's the lighting. That's why the guy looks so different. It was the same hall. You can tell there's nothing changed there. And I had my mom take my after pics because my ex-wife, now my wife at the time, had to work that time, so maybe that was a key too. Have your mom take your after pics, which was she was real patient, and I'm all anxious, and I thought I looked okay, and so we really went through there 100 pictures, and so I pictured in my head that's so funny. But that's what I did is I made sure that my after matched up with my before, and you could tell it wasn't you took him at a lower angle here and a higher angle. It was the same spot, same guy. This is what changed. It's just the body that's in the picture. Everything else is the same, and I guess that's what my goal was.
I couldn't do that. My before pictures were taken in the bathroom of my gym. I just set my phone on a timer. It was a little awkward. People can probably hear my phone clicking in the washroom. You're like, what is she doing?
No selfies in the gym.
No help from your mom on that one, I guess.
No,
That's
my
the
mom
takeaway.
is across the country. My
See?
mom's in Ontario.
Mom knows best.
She
Let's grab
does.
another one really quick.
So Aaron on Google asks, what was your previous experience with fitness, exercise, bodybuilding, etc.? Like, were you always athletes, or was this something new to you? What was your experience prior to doing this challenge?
In high school, I did synchronized skating, and I did some track, like mid-distance and javelin throw, stuff like that. Like nothing major. And then, I just started going to the gym when I decided to start losing weight. So that was, 4 years ago or 5 years ago now I joined the gym. And I started with kettlebells and cardio. Well, first I started with cardio and machine weights. And then I saw somebody doing kettlebells. I'm like, that looks pretty rad. I want to do that. And so I went and did like a whole bunch of research on kettlebells and learned like all that stuff. So I did that. And then I had a friend help me learn free weights and stuff. One of my guy friends that was at my gym. And then he got a little busy, life got in the way. And so he couldn't make it to our workouts anymore. And so that's when I found Bodybuilding.com to show me like the videos and stuff, because I'd look up whatever workout I wanted to do, and then I just kind of click on every single video so I knew exactly what I was doing. So that's all I really did. Like after I learned that, and then I started following some of the programs on Bodybuilding.com. But I didn't really have a whole lot of experience other than just Googling and finding the videos I needed to teach me.
I had first actually got a gym membership when I was 12, and no clue, just kind of followed around what people did there, and then off and on for a lot of years now, because I was 12. All right, so off and on my whole life, it's kind of like I have an idea of what to do. I just don't have what it takes to do it for any long period of time. A few months here, several months off here, maybe a year or more. So it was always something that I had an idea about. Had never really dug in and researched like I did for the challenge. So that's kind of where my baseline was. It was something that was always an interest. It was always on that back shelf, but I never just had the guts to say, I'm going to go all in and grab it off and really learn about this. So
we are winding down, so we've got just about 5 minutes left, so I'll try and get a couple other questions from the room. Candace?
So you guys are both busy and work full-time jobs, and Chandler, you have kids. So what was your strategy for working fitness into your everyday life? Did you train in the morning, in the afternoon? We're pretty spoiled here with the gym in our office, but not everyone has that luxury. So how did you guys attack it?
I had to do it in the morning. When I first started working out, it wasn't very consistent. Like I was doing it after work, but I'd find way too many excuses. I was too tired. I had stuff to do, whatever. So I knew if I threw it in before work, I could get in that hour of working out. And then after work, I had the entire afternoon. Like I could do whatever I wanted. I could go have a nap if I was tired. Like it wasn't taking away from my fitness goals.
I worked out in the morning too. First thing, when was my first class? Like 9 o'clock a semester or something. So it gave me enough time. So I'd wake up and get everything ready for the day, go work out. And like I said, I trained fasted. So that'd be a miserable thing trying to do later in the day. So I wanted it done and over and some food in my face as soon as possible. So that's how I managed. I pretty much worked out before the world woke up, so that way it wasn't affected by that. So.
Oh, yeah, a few more questions from the crew here. I'm going to come to you, Cassie, since you haven't had a chance to ask one yet.
I'm not a doctor, but so you guys are awesome users of the site, and you use pretty much like everything we have to offer. And I was wondering if there's anything that you think we could be doing better on the site, or offer anything that do you ever go during your challenge think, man, I wish I had this option, or I wish there was some factor of the site that is missing from it now, or anything like that?
Yeah, because I use something separate to track nutrition, and that would have been nice to have a mobile. Because even though I wasn't eating out or something, I could have been able to augment that into my plan if I was able to go, oh, where am I? I'm at Qdoba, so I can. So that would have been nice, and then have it just go into the body space rather than I just did it all on this app. Now I've got so that's something I would do as a more mobile nutrition thing, since that does play such a huge part. That's all I got. Is that good?
I got nothing. I don't know. Like when I was doing that was a couple years ago now, and you guys have upgraded the workout tracking part of it. So that was the only part that I was kind of frustrated with. It wasn't easy to track when I was doing it, but now that I've been using it lately, and it's fine. Yeah.
I know we've got one right here. Okay, Chrissy, you're up.
2 questions, but they're easy. Favorite body part to train or favorite exercise to do in the gym? And then do you have a kitchen hack or tip that you like to use when you're cooking your food or prepping your food, like a utensil or something that you found to be very helpful in prep?
Well, my favorite muscle is shoulders. I love to do my shoulders. Just because you can feel it really quickly. The burn, Yeah, exactly. Get the pump. For my meals, my favorite thing was one of the veggie spiralizers. I use that all the time because I love pasta so much. So I could do like zucchini or like pretty much any veggie you want and just make that into noodles instead, and then throw on some like meaty sauce on top. And yeah, that was my go-to.
Favorite thing to work is chest, because I guess it needs the most work, and I like the way that feels. And I need it overhaul on mine, so it's kind of, I lucked out that I like doing it. If my legs weren't good, then I'd just be done. So it's like, oh, legs are all right, good, because I hate legs. I guess I'll just look like the guy riding the chicken. I can deal with that. But the only, wouldn't say hack, more of a tip, I weigh everything, and I weigh it in grams. And that's just so that I can mess with it incrementally, lose a couple grams here or increase a couple grams. So that if you do have a day like, I really like the day, I don't want to change it, but I have to change it because I'm 2 pounds lighter. You can change it without having to revamp. Oh, I got to pull the whole banana out. You don't have to. You just, turn it into 2 days or whatever. So that's really my tip, is to weigh everything. Not to mention, I found a lot of times it'll say a tablespoon of this, it's 12 grams. A tablespoon of that's actually 20 grams. And through the course of the day, you might be overfeeding yourself on quite a few hundred calories and not even realize it. So it's more accurate, and it's just easier when you adjust. So that's my tip, is to weigh everything that you do. So
Nice, very nice. Well, we are wrapped up, but I think I want to just get a temperature here. Are there any more burning questions in the room? We can push a couple minutes over. Just one? All right.
I want to go back to the video, and I want you guys to rewind and relive that moment when Keith and Danielle walked up to you, Chandler, with that duffel bag and started throwing a bunch of cash at you. And just reminisce and tell us like what was going through your head, and then for you, Robyn, as well, when you had a check that literally couldn't fit in your car and you were figuring out what to do with it. Relive us through that moment when you were realizing that, oh my God, I'm the winner. Why is Bodybuilding.com in front of me? And that is a lot of money.
Like 50% of me knew exactly what was going on. The other 50% was pretty sure I wasn't awake yet. Like, oh, you never even went to the gym. You're still in bed. So that's awesome. Then it sunk in, and I kind of, okay, this is really going on. And then I kept waiting for him to leave with the bag. Like, all right, cool, we got our footage. Bang. And I'm not gonna lie, like months afterwards, I kept thinking they're gonna ask for that money back. Don't spend any of it because they're gonna, I made a mistake. So that was just that shock of initially, okay, yeah, it really is, and just so. Go on. I do that. I just stop sometimes.
Yeah, I was just working out and I see these guys come around the corner, and at first I'm like, hey, I kind of recognize those people. And I'm like, wait a minute. Because I knew they were traveling. I was following them on Instagram and stuff, but
that was a secret.
no, like I knew they were traveling, but if I didn't know that, it probably would have taken me a few more minutes to be like, oh, okay. Cheater. And then that big check, that was funny. They asked me how I was going to get everything home. I'm like, well, I drove in a car to go. I guess I'm going to have to take that back and try and fit it in that little smart car.
Well, I think one of the most amazing things, and not at the risk of being too sentimental, I guess a final question for you guys. Having won the challenge, which is, obviously a really prestigious and incredible thing in and of itself, what's been the biggest reward? You kind of mentioned you're both being pretty frugal and responsible with the money, but you've both managed to maintain and are still living a really active lifestyle. You're inspiring our community online. You're incredibly active on our site. So what has the most rewarding part been? Has it been the money itself or the complete, and lasting lifestyle change that it's created for you?
Well, the money helped, but
an accurate answer, honestly.
But just the whole lifestyle change. Like now I'm helping motivate people that always supported me through like everything else. Like they want tips on nutrition and stuff, and they're able to come to me, and I'm able to help them get to where they want to be, like whether it be my mom or my friends or whatever. I just like being able to help the other people reach their goals now.
The biggest reward for me is that biggest compliment that anybody ever says is that you inspire me, and it inspired me to do something positive, and then to actually see it happen, not just hey, that's I'm inspired, but then they follow suit and then they do something amazing, and you feel really good about that, and at the same time now they're inspiring you to keep that up, and it just kind of ends up being a snowball of. But it really is. That's the biggest reward, is that good things can happen to other people, and there's some little tiny small part that I had a piece in, and that's really the biggest reward. I mean, the money and security, that's nice, but you're gonna get money, you're gonna lose money. The ability to impact anybody on any positive level is just huge, and so that's my biggest takeaway from this whole experience.
Well, that's phenomenal. You both inspire us, and I think you both embody what is essentially our vision statement. We change lives. You guys change lives. So a round of applause for our special guest. Thank you guys so very much. You can't see it on Google, but there's an amazing standing ovation right here. A true testament to the impact these guys have. And thank you both for spending time with us today. Just a quick shout out at the end. If people want to catch up with you on Body Space or follow you on social media, just drop your handles really fast.
Well, Instagram and Body Space are both the same. First initial, last name, R Koolen, RKOOLEN.
Body Space, ChanCam77, and then Instagram, you just drop one of the 7, so it's ChanCam7. So.
Nice. And we'll put those in the description on the replay too, so they'll be on the YouTube page for easy access. And if you've got food dreams, you also love sweet treats, I encourage you to check out our recipe database on Bodybuilding.com for a lot of the healthy substitutions and swaps these guys talked about. Check out the Arnold Blueprint to Mass. Just search Arnold Blueprint on the site if you want to follow that same training program. And if you want to grab more nutrition and training advice from these guys, search for them on Body Space. And thank you so much for your time. Thanks, guys.